Okay. In this final section, I asked the question: can we trust distance education? Um, the reason that I put this question on the website is honestly, over the past 2 years, a lot of my friends and people that I know, they know that I've been in this program, and honestly, the questions that I get, I mean, it's very discouraging because there's still a lot of people out there, I feel, that don't trust distance education, and they don't think that some of the things that we're doing in distance education are credible. They question the value of our degree, people who have gotten it through distance education, and it's very frustrating because honestly, over the past, I've been in school now in distance education classes over the past 5 years, and I've worked extremely hard, and it really bothers me that when people don't know anything about it and they just want to viciously criticize it, and the common questions that they ask are, isn't it easier to cheat when taking classes online, and isn't distance education easier or less effective than taking the classes in person? Well, my answer to both of those questions is no. Uh, you know, Talking about the first question, I don't know about you, but I definitely remember people cheating in high school by copying other people's homework, and cheating is gonna go on no matter what the venue. Okay, if people are gonna cheat in life, they're always gonna find a way to do it. Now, hopefully, the people eventually get caught, and that doesn't always happen either. But I'm not really understanding why we feel as a society that people are cheating more in distance education or exclusively in distance education. It's just not true. I mean, for my bachelor's degree, there was proctored finals for that, and I mean, I have a lot of, like I said in the essay, I have a lot of good friends, but I mean, can you imagine going up to one of your friends and asking them, hey, I'm in this class, would you mind taking it for me over the internet for like the next 14 weeks and then just allowing me to get the credit for it? I mean, how ridiculous is that? uh, in the end, I think that even if somebody, let's say that somebody did an Ocean's 11 kind of scheme and they managed to completely cheat their way through a whole program, what's going to happen when they walk up to their employer with their fraudulent bachelor's degree and they're expected to be able to do something that they can't do? They're going to get caught eventually. So I mean, really, this is a silly question, and it bothers me because I think that what set this in motion is that there really are a lot of bad people out there in distance education. They're not really in distance education, but the degree mills and people selling associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees and stuff in the middle of the night. And it's something I think as a career field that we really have to work hard to overcome. There was a couple classes that I was in. I brought up the point that I think as a distance education professional, one of our most important jobs is to maintain quality control so that we can continue to erase the sentiment about distance education left over from the past when there were these people out there that were really, selling snake oil. And I think that really I'm starting to see that change. There's more and more people that are getting into it, and lately I'm really starting to get the sense that it is getting better. So that's very encouraging for me because there's a lot of really hardworking people in this field that I've met in this program, and I know that I've worked hard myself. And our work, I really don't feel that it's fair to devalue it by saying stuff like that. Um, Now for the second part, isn't distance education easier or less effective than taking the class in person? Okay, as I identified in 2 sections ago, I really feel that distance education is not the best way to teach everything. So I would definitely say that in response to the question. But isn't distance education easier? Um, I don't think that that's the case. I've done a lot of work in distance education, and I feel that that work is just as good, if not better, in some ways than people who are getting spoon-fed the information in the class. There's a lot of things that I've had to have a, a lot of autonomy on, and I've had to have a lot of self-motivation to do some of these assignments and to stay on schedule. I mean, there was one semester when I was working on my bachelor's degree that I was not finished with 3 classes, and then I took 6 more. So for a month, I was in 9 classes at the same time. I mean, I had to come up with a schedule, and I had to read. There were some days that I had to read a book and then write a report on it, and I did all that work. I wrote almost 40 papers in a 4-month period, and I was working a full-time job. So I mean, that's a really insulting question to ask somebody who has gone through a distance education program, especially if they are working and they're in the program at the same time. I mean, there's been weeks that I've had a maximum of 4 hours of sleep a day. I really, really worked hard in this program, and honestly, to ask a question like that, I know that it's a lot of it is due to obliviousness, but please, this is a viable media, and it really has come a long way in the past decade, and there are people who are using distance education to make themselves better academically, better professionally. They're doing the exact same things that are happening in live classes, and please, to anybody who just watches this that isn't part of distance education, doesn't already know better, we've got to get rid of this mentality from society, because we're working very hard too, and I really feel that you've got to give us the credit for what we've done as well. This has been a remarkable program, and I've learned a lot from it, and it really bothers me that this mentality is still out there, that distance education people are working less, or what we're doing is not as good. It's simply not true. Thank you.